Good evening. I'm Dr. Stefana Pecher, the country doc, coming to you here from North Stonington. We welcome you all to our newest installment of the Medical Cannabis Seminar and Wellness Support Group that we host here under the Country Doc Wellness Center. We would like to give a great thank you to Julie Banks. She is an advanced certified EFT practitioner and holistic health professional, and she is here tonight to talk to us about medical cannabis and PTSD especially. But she has a great knowledge of the application of this wonderful medication to many other conditions as well. So welcome, Julie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. So yeah, I found medical cannabis for myself 2 years ago. And I have an extensive trauma history in my childhood, and that always gave me a passion to help people with trauma. And the Sandy Hook school shooting happened, and I was responded to a call to serve there as an EFT practitioner to help people remove the trauma, at least from the brain, so they can grieve. So EFT is something that I do. It's emotional freedom techniques, and what that it does, it uses the body's energy meridian system like acupuncture does. So you tap on the endpoints of the meridians, and what happens is it sends a calming signal to the amygdala, the fight, flight, or freeze response in the brain. So it settles down the nervous system. It settles down the intensity around the bothersome memory that you have. In essence, it helps integrate the trauma into the brain. So then you can process what you need to process to really heal. So I got into that, and the work there was quite beautiful and sacred. We helped a lot of people. So then, once that kind of fizzled out a bit, I was had to go through back surgery. Yeah, and I'm also a recovering heroin addict. So back surgery, opiates, not good for me. Not good for, not long term anyway, because it really does change who I am as soon as I put an opiate in my system. So someone mentioned to me medical cannabis, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I used to, had a lot of experience with marijuana, but not in a medicinal way. So I thought, what the heck? And I tried it, and I got off all the opiates. It was a game changer. And at the same time, I was doing a lot of my own trauma healing work, and it was like everything was just settling down. And I was like, I got to bring this to people. I got to help people. And I partnered with a licensed clinical social worker who specializes in trauma. And now we help people get the medicine, and we also do trauma healing work. And it's been so rewarding, and it's such a beautiful. I mean, I love to talk about cannabis, and I would really like to also check in with everybody and see where you're at in the process with the medicine. If you're brand new, have you even started? Have you been doing this a while? What are you experiencing? Like, can I help you tweak it? Because I'm really, it's one of my passions. Because it really, one of the things that researchers have found is that it really, with PTSD especially, cannabis helps quiet the memories. It helps you forget. It works on the area of the brain that helps you forget for a while. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think if you can do that, you can really help integrate the trauma too. Integrate it, and then, change your relationship to the trauma. Because cannabis is a plant medicine, and I really believe with the intention of healing, it wants to serve you in that way and wants to heal. So
tell us a little bit about that fascinating topic of receptors.
Oh, no.
What you mentioned to me on the phone.
It's so funny. I wrote it down and I left it in my
I remember what you told me. Anandamide.
Anandamide, which is the brain's natural THC. So it's responsible for joy. right? It's a neurotransmitter that's responsible for joy, and it does act like a natural THC in the brain. what we found with PTSD, those people have a deficiency in anandamide. Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lower levels of it. So with the lower levels, when you use cannabis, it interacts because it's a cannabinoid.
Yeah.
Anandamide. Say it again.
Anandamide. I know it's.
I can't say it. Anyway, so when you use cannabis, it boosts the levels of anandamide, and you feel better. And then it also works on CB1, the CB1 receptor, which is responsible for helping you process traumatic events. So when CB1 isn't signaling well because of low levels of, thank you, you smoke weed or eat an edible, it boosts the level, and then it helps you, like I said, forget. It helps you to just integrate the memory. So it's a beautiful thing.
Excellent. And more studies are being done all the time.
Right. MAPS is the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. And they're at the forefront of some really interesting research with cannabis as we speak. Also look to Israel. I can't remember the physician's name.
Mahulam was the original.
Yes, he is amazing.
Yeah.
So you can read up on him as well.
He was the original researcher who isolated
THC. Yeah.
And did a whole bunch of initial studies. He's an elderly man now, but
yes.
we met him in Boston last year when he was at this Harvard conference.
Oh, that's fabulous.
But
so cool dude.
So tell us, Julie, what is your experience? I mean, we've had other teachers come in and say things like medical marijuana with limonene, high amounts of limonene, which is a terpene that makes it smell lemony, for example, is not helpful for PTSD patients. We've heard that before. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think it's trial and error because, again, remember, everybody's endocannabinoid system is like your fingerprint, so it's different. So what works for you might not work for me. So I would experiment with that. But I think high myrcene levels are good to find because it helps with sleep, it helps with pain, inflammation, just people. A lot of people with PTSD we find have chronic pain issues. They seem to go hand in hand. I'm not sure what the research is on that, but it's interesting to think about. I would like to look at that more about the linalool. Did Melissa say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So you can find these terpenes listed on the product label. So what she's talking about, the linalool, that you want high levels of that or high levels of beta-myrcene.
Yeah.
You would find that listed, or you could ask the pharmacist at the dispensary.
And is everyone here from Connecticut? Okay. So in Connecticut, one of the growers, TheraPlant, actually has, I think, the most transparency right up front because you can actually go to their website and there's a patient portal and you can look up every strain and it gives you a complete chemical breakdown. They're the only company that does that, and I think that's fabulous. So you can go in there knowing before you buy. I'm a big fan of TheraPlant. They really have some of the highest terpene levels out of all that. They make really good medicine. And they've even upped their game, and there's some amazing flower out there right now. Like the growers have got their stuff together.
Well, in particular, Ethan Ruby.
Oh yeah, certainly
is a friend of ours, and he's given a talk here in the past.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
I think he works for CPS, Connecticut Pharmaceutical Solutions, because his strain is Lexicon, the sativa that smells like cheese.
Really?
Oh, you can't smell it, but it works excellent.
It's a different one.
It's just very, very, it stinks.
What is it good for, especially?
It's really good for elevation in mood if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling sluggish, you have no energy, it will definitely get you going. It's very stimulating. It's a sativa. It's a pure sativa strain. I love it. It's one of my favorites. It's lemon skunk. Am I allowed to say
That's
that?
what it's called?
Yeah.
That's
Well, that would be the
street
name. Okay,
What's the website where you can find the, you can translate the street name to the Connecticut name?
Dabanddad.com is a good one. Yep. That will, you look up the Connecticut name, they're listed by company, and it will translate. But if you don't know the street names, it's not really going to serve you so much. Dabanddad, so it's Dabbindad. And there's an app you can download right on your phone if you're, interested in checking that out. And then from there, once you find out the street name, you can go to Leafly, Leafly.com, and you can look up the name there, and it will tell you the medical benefits that this strain is good for. It will tell you what the effects are, whether it's energizing, whether it's sleepy, whether it increases appetite, whether it will break it all down. And it'll also give you some of the negatives that you might want to be aware of, because some of these strains are pretty potent if you're a newbie. So you need to know what you're getting yourself into. Yeah.
Well, so we were talking with some of the patients earlier about starting low
Yes.
and going slow.
Right. And there's some really good strains right now at the dispensary that start out about 15 to 18% THC. And that's a really good place to start. Then there's some CBD strains that are even lower than that. And the CBD strains are really, I would highly recommend, pun intended, that you start there, because it's really good body medicine. And there's one called, it's Theraplant too, and it's pretty cheap. It's like Mango CBD, that's the name. And I was reading about it. It's a sativa dominant hybrid CBD, so it would be better. It won't make you so sleepy for daytime, because a lot of people are afraid to use the medicine during the day. I don't know how everyone feels about that here. Like, they're afraid to drive, you're afraid you can't function well. So this would be a good place to start with that one in particular. I'll look it up after and give it to you. That might be it. What's it actually called?
I don't know, I just call it a vape pen. It's called Theraplant vape pen.
It doesn't say, there's not a sticker on it that,
This is a charger. Yeah, but it doesn't say.
oh, it doesn't say?
It's not about it.
Yeah, I was looking at the menu last night. I check it out quite a bit.
Things I get it all the time.
Does it taste fruity?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, actually. But it works.
Yeah,
It works.
it's good stuff.
It's low THC, high CBD.
Right. And that's a good place to introduce the medicine into your system, to see how you tolerate it, because some people are pretty sensitive to THC.
Right.
So if you start out with a 30% THC, you're gonna be in for it.
It was tough for me at
Yeah,
first. The
yeah.
first year was like you said, it was trial and error.
It is a lot of trial and error.
And it's expensive.
It can be expensive. That's why it's really good to to talk to people like me or Melissa or yeah. And so where are you at now? Like you use that every day?
Not always, no. Sometimes I use the strips.
Oh yeah,
CBD strips.
sure.
Or sometimes I just buy the oil. I make my own muffins. I make my own chocolate chip cookies. So when I travel,
Yeah.
I can do that. I just came back from the cruise, so I was able to take the big pens and strips with me, and it made it through because I had my copy of my license with me, so it was my medicine.
Oh
I
good.
wasn't quite sure if they let it on the cruise ship,
Yeah.
but they did. Everything but flour.
Yeah.
I was gonna take that anyway.
Right.
So it works well for traveling and out with other people where just can't smoke.
Right. Yeah, because
Smoke at night for sleep at home.
right. Yeah.
It took me about a year, so now I'm on year 3 and I'm almost 3 years, 3.5.
Oh, so you're an old timer now with it.
I got it. For me, I got it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the pharmacists helped me a lot. Dr. Pecher helped me a lot.
Yeah.
The meetings made a big difference though.
That's good.
For me.
That's
Well,
great.
the meetings are very helpful with amazing teachers and, and other patients too, who now, I'm sure now you're ready to teach a class.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Right on. Yeah, because we're using the medicine, so who not better
you know best.
to educate, or at least share what works for everyone else.
Well,
Because
it's funny because I do this and I have that, and what do you recommend? And I'll tell them, you know, what I use, and then I tell them to ask the pharmacist,
Yeah,
you know, at the dispensary.
yeah, yeah,
But I do get a lot of calls from people.
Yeah.
Because they need advice.
right. And especially with like PTSD type symptoms, I don't know if anyone here that's what you're treating with it, but if you are, CBD is your friend, big time. And I'm wondering, I think linalool must be in more sativas, because because you know, sativa can be more like anxiety provoking for some people, because it's stimulating, you know, so it's more racy. Your heart might race a little bit. So you know, for people with PTSD, that would not be a good start in at all. However, there are some people that say yes, that they like sativas because it gets them moving, because it helps counteract their depression. So again, it's really that trial and error. But
That's when I found it first,
yeah.
was some of the medicine was causing more anxiety.
Sure,
So I had to back off.
right.
So I
right.
give that.
Yeah. Is there anyone here brand new? Okay. Yeah. And have you bought anything yet?
Yeah, nothing's worked.
Oh, okay.
She
Yay,
really needs
let's
a lot of help.
Yay.
The only thing,
Yeah.
the only symptom, you know, the only result, whatever, the only symptom, whatever, is I get really dizzy.
Okay.
And nothing has helped. I've done the strips. They told me to start with 1/6 of a strip,
Yeah.
and I ended up using 2 strips and still felt nothing. I did pills, I tried the oil and cookies, I tried vaping.
What were the strips, my dear? Which ones? Were they red or blue, or do you remember?
No, I don't remember.
That's okay.
There's a
Oh,
few different ones.
Sativum slips.
Sativum. Yeah. So that's a sativa, first of all.
Yeah,
So that's definitely. I don't know
not
what you know.
you would need.
Yeah. Okay. So you'd want an indicol strip, or the cannabidiol, like 1 to 5 strips. That would be a really good strip for you to start with.
What was that one?
It's cannabidiol. It's like CANNABIDIOL, maybe.
Yeah.
Good. 1 to 5.
What about
So it's 1 part THC, 5 CBD. So
Are
this
those red? I think
they're
so.
like an orangey red. I think.
Yeah.
I think they're the red ones.
Yes.
Oh, they are red. Okay.
I use them.
That'll
Okay.
help you remember.
Right. And I can give you my card. You can call me too if you want, and I can help you out. No problem. Do you go to Thames Valley?
Yes.
Okay, because Meredith and Lori, they're great as well. Very helpful. Yeah. Were you going to say something?
What about the tinctures?
Sure. Yeah. Or the spray. That's another, the sublingual spray. It's about 4 milligrams of THC. I think it's 4.8, so it's about 5 milligrams. Because that's a good start for people too who are sensitive. Because does it feel like too much, or you're just not feeling
She doesn't
anything?
get
I
anything,
don't get
just
anything.
dizziness.
Just dizziness.
But I think what
Interesting.
else? What else have you tried? Which other forms do you recall?
Yellow oil, hybridol, OB,
Oh, you did try that.
Geneva T50, 360X.
Oh, that's Rick Simpson oil. Oh, yeah, that's full.
Hybridol vaping.
So let me ask you this: when you took that 360X, what did that do? How much did you take? Because that's an oil, right? Syringe.
Isn't it awful? I don't know what it is. I mean,
That's
I
intense.
did buy an oil and
Yeah.
make cookies out of it. The only result I got from any of them was just dizziness.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna. That's yeah. Yeah, I would go with the CBD, the 1 to 5. I would really. That's my intuitive hit on that one. 1 to 5, or even if you don't feel that, there's a 1 to 1 that you would start with that, because it shouldn't cause dizziness. CBD shouldn't do that. It's more THC because it's psychoactive and kind of can feel a little outside of yourself, maybe. That makes sense. Do you feel anything numb at all? Like, no? Just dizzy. Interesting. And how long? A couple months you've been doing this?
Yeah, a few months.
Yeah. Well, I commend you for staying at it.
I'm almost ready to give up.
Are you? Don't give up yet.
No, it's for depression.
It's
I have relentless medication-resistant depression. And, you know, I got the prescription because of psoriasis, but what I'm really.
Sure.
Is that.
Yeah. So if depression is it, you definitely you might want to try a sativa. Because sativa is, I think, because CBD for some people too can make you feel a little depressed. But if you find a CBD that's sativa dominant, hybrid, it has less of a chance of doing that because some people need that THC boost to boost the mood because it elevates the mood. Do you sleep well? What's your sleep like? Yeah? Okay. So then you might want to stay away from indicas, too many indicas, because that's more down, like into couch. And if you're depressed, you want to be off the couch, right? So,
It says they are sativas.
okay, but they're still interesting. Yeah. I'll look at the list later, and I'll look at the menu, and you know, let's see if we can come up with something. Yeah, for sure. Don't quit before the miracle happens. Yeah.
I just make a comment about your forgetting part, you know, how
Sure.
it makes you forget. My late husband, he used to use marijuana
Mm-hmm.
because it helped him forget that he had a tumor.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
He said, oh, it just helps me forget.
Yeah.
And it made him feel better.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
like that mood boosting, feel better. And yeah, so it was the forgetter for him. for
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And how's it work for you?
Well, I don't have a card myself.
Oh, not yet.
No, but I do have PTSD,
Okay.
so I'm looking into more of looking into getting a card.
Yeah. Definitely. Okay.
And seeing Julie for her
Yeah.
techniques. That really helped.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm here to hear what the technique. It's good to know the variations and how to use them.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right.
It's
Definitely.
interesting. You think just you smoke and that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Is weed.
Well, you know,
But
look.
there's obviously these elements that are important to understand.
Yeah. Well, I think especially when you're treating something emotional, I think to treat it from a psychological standpoint, along with the medicine, is a must because you don't want to just mask the symptoms either. You know, I mean, it definitely heals, but you can also misuse it and then want to escape. So I think you have to be really clear with what you're doing. You know, so again, it's very responsive to intention. So I can't reiterate that enough. So that's why we really like to do trauma healing work along with the medicine, and you can even we recommend smoking before you come in to do the trauma healing work because then it's like you just
Is
go
that
right
right?
in. Oh God, yeah, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because I find that the cannabis helps you drop into your body, and when there's a lot of trauma, we're not in our bodies, right? It's like no. So to be present to the body, like in the body, and the weed will help foster that process, and I think it helps. It kind of takes the edge off what's so intense, so we can really get into it, and it's just a beautiful marriage.
It's like
That's
with
what I've found.
PTSD, you have a tendency to get locked in the moment
Oh, absolutely.
of the flash.
Sure.
So it'd be good to have something that can actually coat
Take
that.
the edge of that off. Yeah.
Because it's there either way. It's going to still be in your psyche.
Right. Because it is your story. Like it's something that happened. We can't take away what happened, but we can take away the intensity of it. Like it doesn't have to affect you and impact you in the way that it has anymore. So it can allow the memory to integrate into the brain instead of like just constantly the amygdala going like firing
It's like taboo,
constantly.
It's
Yeah.
either you feel terrible from your anxiety or you feel terrible from the guilt of trying to treat your anxiety.
Yeah.
Socially with people with, the whole getting accustomed to taking a medical marijuana, taboo, or should I not, or should I just continue to feel terrible?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that's your choice.
right,
And,
and
and
that's
it's
where I'm
sad.
at is,
Because we're really in the midst of a paradigm shift here, and many people are choosing to educate themselves about this and shift their mentality around it, but there's a stubbornness of, it's the devil's lettuce or whatever the heck they call it. So I align myself with the truth because I think the truth is powerful, and I really want to educate people about how helpful it is, and so that's a choice I've made, and I'm just choose to be out there with it. And if people want to judge me for that, well, let them. It's none of my business. You know,
So they
because I know it helps
based on
me.
what you give them for
Yeah.
information.
Right, you know, so it's like educate. There's so much research, you know, to still be done yet, but there is some really compelling stuff out there that, I mean, they can't deny anymore,
No,
right,
it's
Dr. Pecher? I mean, come
undeniable.
on, they can't.
We have so many patients that have had their lives literally changed for the better, miracle stories, and of all ages. And a lot of them are over 65, so it's,
That's amazing.
It's really quite a wonderful thing, and it doesn't hurt the kidneys and it doesn't hurt the liver
Right.
and can't kill you. An overdose can't kill you, so
And do you know why that is?
no, why? You fall
Well-
asleep before you can.
No. Well, you have endocannabinoid system, and you have these receptors all over your body, except there are none in the brainstem. Therefore, you can't overdose.
Is that right?
That's right.
I
Yes.
didn't know that.
I'm glad I taught you something.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
My husband's tumor was in his brainstem.
Oh, interesting.
It
Wow.
makes a difference, but
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was interested in knowing. Because I've had some intense experiences on edibles and thought like, oh my God, I'm not going to live.
You took too much.
Too much early on. Yeah, I ate like 100 milligram it was, it was
So you have to-
it was a long night.
You wanna go slow.
You want to go really slow.
Yeah.
If you are going to start with edibles, you know, get a 20 milligram cookie and eat 2.5 to 5 milligrams. You want to really go slow. Trust me on that one. Because it's just uncomfortable. You know, it just...
Well, it's not why
it's-
you're trying to do it.
No,
So
no.
you're-
But some people need that high of a dose too. It really depends on what you're treating. And I just don't need that much medicine. You know, I really love to microdose. That's, you know, I get up in the morning, I have my vape oil, have a cup of coffee, and I'm good for about 5 hours. Have another vape, good for a couple hours, have another, and then at night I'll smoke some flower and go to sleep. So it's like sativa all day, maybe a little CBD mixed in. But every couple of hours, just one hit, and that really, really serves me. And I function very highly, very clear most of the time. Not falling asleep at work. You know, I listen to people talk to me all day, so I have to, you know, if I'm too stoned, I'm going to be like, what did they just say? But I find that it really helps me be present, and it really helps me tune in, too. And it helps with my intuition. It's really beautiful, so, yeah.
What is the oil? Baby oil?
Yeah. So it looks like it's in a. So this is Sadivarian D. Have you tried this one? This is Blue Dream. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you have to buy a battery. You can buy it right at the dispensary, and it heats up the oil and creates a vapor. So it's much better for you than actually burning it. So you're not combusting it, and it's just, you know, it's a nice light little hit, and you know you can either inhale till the light goes out, or you can go even smaller than that. And you know, just, you know, especially if you're brand new and if you ever smoked marijuana before, okay, so you have some experience with it. Some people have no idea even how to
Yeah.
inhale it.
No, it's true. And we get a lot of
Yeah.
questions.
Well, right. So this is a great way. I think this is a great way to start, because I think this is, look, you could smoke on this and get pretty medicated, or you can get medicated just enough, so you can really titrate the dose well.
And it would go like between 1 and 3 hours?
Yes, probably more like 2 to 3, maybe 4 if you're really sensitive.
And it's immediate.
It is immediate.
That's
feel
the
it right away.
benefit Of,
Yeah.
of
And the
inhalation.
Oils do different things.
Yes, these oils, there's different strains of them. So this is a sativa, which would be for daytime. Then there'd be hybrids, that's a mix of indica and sativa, but one would be more dominant, and it would tell you which would be dominant. And then there's indica oils, and that's more for nighttime, or if you're in a lot of pain, you're really uncomfortable, and you need to just chill. Think into couch. Indica, into couch. Yeah. But this is definitely the way I choose to do it, and I think it's a game changer. And then it's discreet. It doesn't leave a heavy smell on you. The smell goes away in like 2 minutes. Where if you smoke flower, it like lingers and you smell like weed all day. I don't know. I mean, for some, I guess that's good, but like I'm working in an office, so.
Well, and a lot of patients talk about layering, right?
Oh yeah, sure. So, you know, so like the entourage effect, is that
Or just
essentially-
like starting with this and then an edible that takes 2 hours to start working.
there you go.
You
So
know?
so you'd start with this, and then you'd eat, say, half a cookie or a quarter of a cookie, and then that would take, you know, it can take anywhere up to 90 minutes to hit you full on. Some people 20 minutes, but you should wait a full 90 before you would take more, just to see.
So these edibles.
Yes.
You know, the pot, the marijuana is always changing as it's growing and being harvested. So is it safe to say that it's always the same strength if you're eating the same amount?
When it comes to buying an edible, when you buy it at the dispensary, it will be precise. They'll tell you the breakdown, and you'll know exactly how much you're taking. So when you just buy say an oil syringe and make your own cookies, you're gonna have to do some math. You know, so it'll be a bit less precise, but because it does get a little expensive if you're gonna medicate and just buy edibles at the dispensary. So you would probably be better off buying an oil syringe and making. You'll make a lot more cookies that way, or whatever you're gonna bake with, for sure. Well, you might want to try a tincture too, because that's actually a pretty cost-effective way. For $60, you get about 1,000 milligrams, and you can just, you know, start off with a couple drops under the tongue, like Ceridin tincture. I don't know if they have that one right now, but that's a really good one.
How long does that take to start working?
The tincture
Yeah,
is pretty quick 'cause it's sublingual, so it's right away.
it is.
And it bypasses your liver and it bypasses your digestive system. Because the reason,
Call it again?
Ceridin, Seradn, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of the reasons that edibles are so heavy is because it mixes with your liver enzymes, and it's a stronger effect. You know that?
No.
Yeah, it does something funky there with the liver enzymes.
I
I had to
just-
research that.
I just knew that it was fat soluble,
Yeah.
and that depending on what you've eaten before, you can enhance the effect. So
Indeed.
you should eat it with olive oil or something like.
They've actually found that coconut oil is the best.
Is
For
it?
some reason. But don't ask me why, I'm not sure.
So,
So coconut oil, peanut butter, and then if you really want to enhance the intensity of the medicine, eat a mango. Yeah. So
Is there any marijuana infused sugars for
honey.
other reasons? Sugar, like an actual granule that could be used for like.
Not at the dispensary.
cotton
I don't know
candy,
where.
Let's say.
That's a good idea.
No,
You're onto
yeah,
something.
Honestly, yeah. Somebody sent me a little ad that they were saying it was that sugar, but I think it was like a made up thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
That's a
about
good question for Melissa because she's quite the baker.
well, she is.
She's quite the baker.
And she was very nice to actually offer to be available by phone for questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, but she's on vacation, and I don't think
Okay.
it's fair that we
Yeah.
harass her.
Yeah.
But Anessa here has a cotton candy business, so she has a vested
Yeah,
interest.
so.
Oh, well,
In
that
the
makes a
granular-
lot of sense. I like where you're going with that. That could be that could be highly profitable.
Yeah, and beneficial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But do you live in Connecticut?
I do.
That's an issue.
Well, we'll get
So
you in
far.
connection with
Yeah.
Anessa. She's really an excellent baker, and she
Okay.
probably will.
Oh, she posts pictures on
Yeah.
Facebook, and your mouth's watering of what she bakes.
That's
Cannabis.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has a gift.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm sorry.
Oh no! Don't please ask away.
So this certain tincture, is this for one thing? To help with one condition?
Yeah.
Anxiety, or is it used for,
Let me just
how many different tinctures?
I just want to see what the what the strain is. If I can, I'll look it up for you quick.
So this is just one kind, and it's called this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me just see what's Scott's OG. So it's an indica. It's an indica, but so this would be definitely for pain, for stress, aches and everything hurts, highly anxious,
Oh,
need to just take the charge out, can't sleep. And I would start with like 2 drops, or maybe even 1, because like you can always add, but you can't take away. That's a tincture. Yeah. Have you tried that?
What's the CBD to THC?
I don't know that. I don't know if the
that's CRA.
and they're not gonna. You'd have to ask at Thames. They'd be able to tell you.
And do all of these help with appetite? Because you always hear that marijuana's going to make you eat.
Well,
Is it with all of them
indica-
across the board?
Indica, yes, but if the sativa has THCV, THCV actually helps you lose your appetite, which can be a good thing for some of us. Yeah, because like I'll smoke the sativa all day and it doesn't make me hungry. Indica, yeah, I got to make sure I eat something before I smoke, and then because it drops your blood sugar a little bit too, so that's kind of what you're feeling as well. So if you eat something before, it'll stabilize your blood sugar, and you'll be less likely to want to like eat the refrigerator. Yeah.
But this doesn't make you tired. Well, you said it helps you sleep.
It will make you tired. It could. You have to find your dose, because some people need indica and they'll use it all day long. And there are days when I have some pain going on, and I'll just, like I said, microdose with the vape, so it won't be as heavy. Because if I ate an edible or the tincture, it would be a heavier feeling for me, and then I'd probably not function as well personally. But you have to experiment with that a bit. Yeah. Yeah. You know what is a good spray that I was just reading about? Is there's a THCA spray and what that means, I think it's 5 milligrams of THCA and like 2 milligrams of THC. So THCA is a chemical. So what happens when you smoke, when you heat it up, THC turns to THCA, and it's really good for pain. So this is already, they decarboxylate it, that's what they call it. So they heat it up, and it changes the chemical of it. So it's very effective for pain, and I think that would be a really good starting place for you. And it's a spray. I think it's like $60. I happened to see it last night, and I was like, this is interesting.
Instead of the tinctures.
It would be considered like, it's a tincture, just a spray instead of a drop. So you'd spray it under your tongue and just let it sit in the mouth for about 30 seconds and swallow. And you'd absorb it right away. You'd feel it within probably 30 seconds too of taking it.
What dispensary are you?
Thames Valley?
Sorry?
Thames Valley?
Thames Valley?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Uncasville, right?
Yep, Uncasville.
Have you moved to the Bank of America building? Did you move?
They're moving. I don't know when. I'm not sure exactly. But yeah, it's a much bigger building.
You work for them?
I do not work for them.
No.
I would love to work for them. That'd be a fun job. Yeah. Blue Point in Brantford, or Madison, no, where is it? Nope. It's in Brantford, I think. They have a drive-through because they bought an old bank. And so maybe Thames is going to do the same thing. I haven't really asked, but I think that's brilliant. That's awesome. Because you can go and order online. You can pre-order too. Does everyone know that?
Yeah.
So you don't have to wait at the dispensary. You can pre-order what you want and then just go and pick it up. Much better than sitting there
We
waiting.
go up to Hartford to Arrow.
Oh, do you? Arrow's great because they have one in Milford and Hartford.
Yep. Right.
I've heard excellent things about them. Yeah. Yeah.
My son does all the ordering, and he seems to think they have a good variety, supply.
They seem to. I've heard that too, more so than a lot of them. Maybe just because it's in the city, there's a lot more people. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I don't know.
And I think they tend to be a few dollars cheaper too, which is nice.
Well, if you're 65 and over, you get 10% off.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, wow.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were doing that.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So how long might one expect to wait if you?
Well, it's hit or miss because I've gone in and no one's there, but that's rare. But you can wait. You can wait 20 minutes, half hour.
And what are their hours?
I think they open at 9 and they close at 6, and then Saturdays I think they close at 2. But you just go to their website; it will tell you. Yeah. Or you can also schedule an appointment, and then they'll get you right in, and you won't have to wait. So that's an option as well. Especially if you need to sit and talk to the pharmacist, because if you pre-order something, they don't really want to talk to you. They want you in and out. So, but it's kind of like it's a happy place to go though. Everyone's happy. Just sit and chill for a minute, get what you need.
So the one
Yes.
comment and question, but it's not really a question. I think I know the answer. You're not allowed to use this and drive.
Right.
Is that correct? Legally speaking. So
Legally speaking,
Yes.
you shouldn't operate heavy machinery.
so if you had an accident and that you were found to have this, it could be a problem.
Right.
So
Do
that's
you have any?
no. I think it's if you have the effect at the time of the accident.
Yeah.
Because it stays in your system for 30 days. It's a fat-soluble chemical.
Mm.
So
But they'd have to give you a urinalysis, right, to prove that, correct?
I'm not really sure how you would prove that, but
Yeah. I know there's a lot of controversy about that right now with trying to come up with a breathalyzer because it
Yeah.
stays in the mouth. But I don't know.
Just
I
something
was
be
talking to
careful of.
another physician, Dr. Brown,
Yeah.
about it, and he's like, "Look, people take their Lexapro every day and drive, and again, it's controversial, but legally speaking,
Yeah.
you shouldn't drive under
All
the
meds
influence."
come with that warning too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
So if it's
correct.
someone's medicine that they're taking every day, but again, you have to see how it affects you. Because honestly, I think I drive better. Delete that.
In your backyard.
In my backyard.
You're a big farmer,
I'm really
right?
driving like 20, and I think I'm going 50. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, shit.
Delete that too.
But no, I just for the record wanted to put that
Yeah,
out there.
no, that is good. Yeah.
So how about you guys, the gentlemen? You're very silent. Do you have any questions? Because now's a golden opportunity to really have a one-on-one, somebody answer some real questions for you. Do you guys have any
I
questions?
didn't have any questions, no, just some general observations though.
Sure.
Yes, please share.
Yeah.
So just by way of introduction, I have a background in analytical chemistry and natural products chemistry.
Oh, interesting.
I came from nutraceutical industry before I moved in pharmaceuticals. It's really disheartening to hear your comments. I'm not sure what I'm taking.
Yeah.
And we've got really what we're looking at is kind of a multifactorial experiment. We've got several active ingredients
Mm-hmm.
that are in the plant.
Right.
We've got 2 dominant strains and several combinations of hybrids.
That's true.
We have the entourage effect from terpenes.
Right.
We've got street names. We've got chemical names. And now we've got brand names. And the patient's trying to navigate all of this space
Yeah.
in terms of their experience. So anecdotally, we've got some great stories to tell. But what we want to be able to do is to take those anecdotes and to translate them into a reproducible type of scenario. And I think what's lacking in all of this is, first of all, rigorous testing, which is still very much in its infancy. There are no certified reference materials for this testing. There are very limited efficiency programs out there to demonstrate efficacy of lab testing. And it's like the Wild West.
Yeah.
In fact, there's stories now surfacing in Colorado where some labs are being bribed
I read that.
to influence the documentation that they're producing on the actual labels.
Yeah, they're increasing THC percentages so they make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did read that.
So the point I'm making is that we've got, excuse me, some great anecdotal information.
Sure.
We've got our experiences, which can vary one day to the next, or over time. We've got all the variability that Mother Nature likes to throw at us because she doesn't make discrete compounds, she makes classes and families of compounds, layered with the regulatory environment, and on it goes. And in the midst of this are people with legitimate ailments, legitimate problems, trying to seek benefit from a medicine that is not a discrete substance.
Mm.
So I'm here to learn and listen. I enjoy hearing people's experiences, but what I find really, I have compassion for people who are trying to navigate any medical situation
Right.
and educate themselves and struggle with terminology and jargon and all of that, and also trying to have an experience and it's a great benefit. But your words really stuck with me. I don't know what I'm taking. And that's true for pharmaceutical drugs.
Well,
as
that's it,
Yeah.
she has failed multiple pharmaceutical drugs for many years.
Yeah.
So that didn't help her either.
Yeah.
So, you know, and what did she really know what she was taking there? We think we
Right.
know,
I can barely read the label of our
Right.
food.
with all those side effects. So, I
Yeah.
mean, yes, it's trial and error, but so is a lot of medicine.
I agree, but I think with medicine, you don't have this multifactorial problem to deal with.
True.
There's still trial and error.
Yeah.
Because we have, everything that we do in medicine, natural or otherwise, is in fact an experiment of N equals 1. We're always
It's true. Everybody's different.
Everybody's different.
Look
Right.
at Wellbutrin, what it did to her.
I lost half my hair.
Oh, wow. Oh,
I
wow.
can't take pharmaceutical drugs, my system can't handle it, I have various allergic reactions. I started with cannabis, medical marijuana for PTSD, but I was, again, not knowing what I was doing, my son was helping me along, and I was still nervous and scared about going to get high or something, because I'm sister married, right? Okay. When I had 4 surgical procedures on my right foot, I took 5 Vicodin. Didn't touch the pain, it was bone crushing. So my son encouraged me, he said, Mom, I'll help you. And he gave me edibles, I think it was 10 milligrams of CBD, Ghirardelli dark chocolate or whatever. It was a slow build-up. And then, oh my God, I had
Nice.
I kept track of everything so that I would know how it affected me.
Fantastic.
And within a 24-hour period, 5 Vicodin, it did nothing. And I didn't want any more, I didn't want any effects from that. So the medical marijuana stayed with it. The first 24 hours of it was 70 milligrams of CBD / about 15 milligrams of THC. And it was a natural high to be free of pain. So after I got through recuperating with this major pain, I take about 5 to 6 drops of the tincture,
Mm.
and I get a fabulous sleep. I use
How do you take that?
CB. It's a tincture. It's in a little bottle, and I just put it in some Zola acai berry juice or something. Yeah, it's, but you might need less, you may need more, because as you said, go low and slow. I also
And wait.
have,
Yeah.
I think it's 10 milligrams of CBD coconut oil cream that I use, and so when I broke the toe, I just put it on, and I'm not driving to the emergency room. It's stopped any swelling, it did turn color, I turned colors. Next morning I got up, I broke the toe, put more on, made my breakfast, then I drove myself home. So I was very nervous about trying medical marijuana, but after having been on a lot of it through the operation, I found my digestive system was getting better, my joints felt better. I had so many side effects that were wonderful. And my PTSD, sit with one, I'll get to you in a minute. I know, you're not gonna jangle my nerves. So, yes, it's a tough road, but I think it's totally worth it, especially for people that can't take pharmaceutical one pill fits all. Because it
I
doesn't.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So imagine, 5 years from now, you're a resident of Connecticut.
I am.
All right, so you leave this area, and you go into a new area with a different regulatory environment, different products, different dispensaries, and you're looking to reproduce what you've achieved in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Right now,
That's an
actually
issue.
a very, very difficult thing to do.
That's why they need concierges to like translate. What's your problem? You got pain,
Well, I think
you're
it's-
depressed,
I
whatever.
agree, I think
And
there are some knowledgeable people working in the dispensaries who are doing their level best to provide that type of education. But until we have some sort of actual standardization in the industry,
Absolutely.
rigorous testing, we're never gonna get to the place where people can have reproducible experiences from one state to the next, one dispensary to the next.
Right.
So that's why we have meetings like this to
Right.
help each other out.
Right.
And in my experience can help, you know,
Right.
and I wish my son were here tonight, because he's like my hero.
Mm.
He's absolutely my hero, because I don't like to get paranoid, I don't wanna be high, I just wanna be free from the pain.
Yep.
And then get the digestive system straightened out. And
Yeah.
I told Dr. Pecher, like, oh my God, I can't believe all the beautiful side effects. Thank you.
Positive side effects,
My
yes.
therapist
Yeah.
is like, oh, this is great, we can talk now.
That's
So
awesome.
as the expression goes, we have to start where we are.
Yes.
And I applaud all of you for navigating through this space and the challenges, because it's not an easy landscape.
Oh, it's not, you're right.
No, and you've made some excellent points, and one of the biggest issues is that it's still a Schedule I drug, and that's why
We can't do
can't
the
research that, you know.
That has to go.
It's gotta go, it's gotta be addressed at a federal level.
Absolutely, it's got to change. It really has to change.
And we've seen a lot of changes in nutraceuticals. I worked in the fish oil industry for 5 years.
Oh, cool.
So initially, fish oil, well, what is it? What does that mean? And then we discovered EPA and DHA, and we learned how to analyze it in quantitatives. Okay, so there are maybe threes that give us the benefit. Oh, well, are they free fatty acids, triglycerides, or methyl esters? I don't know, it's just fish oil. 10 years, 15 years later, we now have 3 major fish oil manufacturers in the entire world. Everything else is private label. We have one pharmaceutical company, GSK, that operates in this space with Levasa. And the reproducibility going to any drugstore to get a private label product is remarkable. The quality control is very rigorous. The labeling has been tightened. Everybody knows exactly what they're taking when they take a fish oil supplement. That was about a 15 to 20-year journey.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hold great promise that we're actually starting this journey, but to your point, without the federal Schedule I changing, we're not going to get there.
Yeah, we're stuck.
And in the
Yeah.
meantime, it's kind of fuzzy and it's very experiential and it's
Yeah.
sometimes frustrating
Yeah.
for the consumers.
Totally. But the good news is it won't kill you. You know, where a lot of these other drugs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so, but it is frustrating as all. It can really be, and then people give up, you know, and that's sad.
It is very
Or they'll take too much and then they get scared and they think it's not. They'll throw it right out the window. Like, I'm never doing that again, and that's upsetting as well. So, I mean, that's why thank you for having everyone honoring your patients and supporting them through this process, because we need more physicians like you out there doing this.
Well, thank you for taking the time, braving the terrible traffic, and taking the time out of your
Oh,
busy
sure.
schedule
Yeah.
to do this. So we're all sort
Absolutely.
of putting it together and doing our best to support everyone.
Well, I wholeheartedly believe in the medicine, because I know how much it's been a game changer for me, and it's been a game changer for a lot of my clients, and a lot of family members too. I just can't recommend it enough. But again, it is sort of kind of like, I'll try that one and see what happens. Have you find what works for you?
I don't use any.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you don't at all?
I use it recreationally and just about everything else I could get my hands on when I was younger. That's
We would have been good friends.
It's called basic foundation in organic chemistry.
Absolutely.
But I'm very, very interested in kind of the meeting of the lines, whether it's traditional Chinese medicine,
Sure.
whether it's native Indian medicine, all of that. There's a systemic body of knowledge, so we call it anecdotal, but it predates modern medicine by thousands of years.
Mm.
And it's now just starting to get into mainstream medicine in terms of an understanding of the modes of action, mechanisms, and so forth. So this entire opportunity is opening up from what used to be recreational to now legitimate medical usage.
Right.
And I'm excited that there's a potential for closing the gap that existed previously.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's my interest in this is from a research side.
Gotcha.
But I'd like to have some understanding of patient experience, so like get kind of understand where are the challenges of navigating the knowledge right now.
Yeah.
'Cause it is really there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear as mud.
That's great.
Person that had hundreds of chronic seizures from some bipolar medicine.
Mm.
There's a really powerful YouTube video of a family with a child who experienced epileptic seizures.
Mhm.
And I think they ended up moving to Colorado to get access to medicine.
Sure.
And then something changed in the extract of the wax they were getting, so that the ratios were no longer equivalent batch to batch.
Right.
And suddenly the child wasn't experiencing benefit.
And the child.
That's
Wasn't experiencing any benefit.
that's unfortunate.
So, it's an example of, okay, yes, there is true benefit, but what's preventing this reproducibility
Yeah.
is the oversight, the regulation, quality control, and so forth.
Yeah.
Maybe we should look into Israel and take them along studies.
They're because they've been at it the longest.
They're
So
30 years ahead of what we're doing
Yeah.
in this country.
totally.
Yeah.
So that's where to look for the research if you want to read some good stuff. Yeah.
What about the other quiet gentleman?
I'm just a caregiver.
Right on.
Just,
Yeah, right, Josh. We could go on about that.
That's it. 60, no medication.
Good for you.
I don't drink though, so.
oh, I definitely would have, I took care of my parents for 8 years. I would definitely have both my father for his physical pain on medical marijuana and my mother for her Alzheimer's.
Mm. That's an interesting
My
place
father
of research
had-
right now.
My mother died from fentanyl.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, he went down to 129 pounds,
Oh wow.
and I
Yeah.
can just see it now,
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Really
some.
supporting me in what I'm
Yeah.
doing here.
There is some research about early onset dementia with cannabis. I'm sure that's been it
Yes.
increases neuroplasticity and
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
Oh, I know, they both really
Yeah.
benefited, I
Yeah.
am totally convinced,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, we need research. Do some.
I'd like to.
There's only one research license that's been granted in the state of Connecticut.
Is that
Really?
right?
I don't know who holds it.
Yale.
Is it Yale?
It's Yale, and it's
Isn't that kind of a sad
Oh, it's
state
Peter
of affairs?
Eddy, or is it Peter some? It's because he sends me something. I participate.
it's the guys in East Haven, the growers.
Oh, it is?
I think
So it's the growers then.
I
It's
believe
not.
no, I think it's Yale, but I have a feeling somehow they were connected.
Okay.
But I might be wrong.
Because every 6 months I fill out a questionnaire and email it back to
I
them
think that's
about what it's treating and
that's what
that
Yeah,
is.
yeah. That's interesting.
Right, excellent. Thank you very, very much, Julie, really.
Oh, thank you for having me.
A pleasure, wealth
Always
of
a pleasure.
knowledge. And thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks, man.
And thanks, Melissa, in absentia.